So, all right, that was Crazy Town USA #1. Crazy Town USA #2.
It is the responsibility of the player to be sure that change in status is clearly communicated to the referee by both a physical signal with his hands up and down in front of his chest and to report to the referee his intention to report as an eligible receiver.
So I love that they got Dabo Swinney reading the rules so we all understand.
But hey, you know what's hilarious about that video, right? Is earlier they showed the Detroit Lions doing it the proper way in the same game. So it was almost like a dig at the Lions. They sent this video out to all 32 teams. They showed the Detroit Lions doing it the proper way, and then they showed that clip in regards to saying that you need to do it properly as far as the hand gesture on your chest and making it clear and cut for the ref. But one thing you notice on that video is like the ref is kind of moving away from the players as they're talking to him. So was this a situation where he was just used to seeing Dan Skipper report most of the game and he just assumed that it was Skipper while the Detroit Lions were trying to have some gamesmanship and confuse the Dallas Cowboys, but they actually confused the ref.
Right. Hey, B-Mac,
trying to be slick.
Let me ask you, B-Mac, this, and Lejay, you can follow up too. But does it make sense for the Lions to try to confuse the defense because the official has to come over and tell you guys anyway who's eligible? So
thank you. Yes, it doesn't make sense.
That's why it didn't ever make sense.
Me and Lejay, we on the defensive side together. All right, we're getting ready to get in the huddle. Once the tackle eligible comes in, the referee acknowledges who is eligible. He comes to us and say, "Hey, 74 is eligible." So now we're going to echo that.
Oh, we communicate that.
Yeah, hey, 74, 74, 74. And that's it's important for the second and third level guys. Lejay, he's still rushing the passer. But for us in coverage, right? Linebackers, guys in the secondary, we got to echo that. Hey, remember, 74 is eligible. So now we gotta play the formation as such. So for them to try to finesse and confuse on the Cowboys, 9 times out of 10, they probably didn't see two guys running to the referee anyway, because we're looking to the sideline either waiting for our signal or we waiting for our caller, whoever has the mic and the helmet, to kind of get us together. So we didn't even see, we usually don't see that.
Let me ask you this as a follow-up, though. So Skipper had been eligible earlier in the game throughout. Never had it been Decker. Would that be a confusion point for you guys if you thought it was usually going to be Skipper?
Well, no. My thing is, like B-Mac was saying, at the end of the day, the ref has to come over the mic and announce that. And the one thing on defense, it's all about communication. So like B-Mac said, we're going to reiterate that. Right? We're going to say it multiple times. Hey, 68 is eligible, 68 eligible. And B-Mac, I know you said it's really important for the second and third level guys. But as a defensive end, if we know that a new guy is eligible, best believe we're getting hands on him at the line of scrimmage, right? Because what they usually like to do, Ryan, is what they did. They check release right there, right? So he'll act like he's blocking and then go. Well, a lot of defenses, if that guy's eligible and the defensive end makes contact with him, sometimes he owns him, man. So, like, if I'm a defensive end and I know that guy's eligible, I'm trying to wash him all the way down to the center. Like, you're not getting off the line of scrimmage at all. So, that's the thing. They tried to confuse the ref, but they confuse the Cowboys, but they ended up confusing the ref because I think I saw it somewhere. It might have been Emmanuel Acho. He was saying, what if the Cowboys didn't guard Decker on purpose because he wasn't eligible, right? Because if he's not eligible, he can catch all the passes he wants. Catch all the passes he wants. It's an illegal
because for the Cowboys, Skipper was the guy who they were told was eligible. So no question 68 was going to be open because he wasn't supposed to be, he wasn't the eligible guy. He wasn't the guy that was communicated to them as the eligible guy.
And I know, B-Mac, I think we talked about this after the game. Here's what let me tell you, get what your thoughts are, Lejay. It felt like to me after that all went haywire and they kept going for it on fourth down or whatever it was and kept getting farther away from both of you guys shaking your head. Here's what I said, and I said this to Rick too. I said it felt like Dan Campbell was saying, listen, it's us against them in this one game. We're going to be the third seed or whatever, so we're just going to keep going and prove ourselves. And Rick said if that was a playoffs, it would have been different.
Facts.
But the thing is, I don't. B-Mac, this is who he's been the whole year. Like when they cross the 50, like if it's fourth and less than 4, he's going for it. No matter what. That's who Dan Campbell has been.
If you go back to his presser, remember he said the reporter asked him about going for it even after the penalty.
Correct.
And he said, I told my guys during that drive, we're going to score and we're going for 2. And I wanted to keep my word.
No matter what.
Yeah. So,
it's baffling to me because like they still were in contention for the number 1 seed. Like I don't know if he was thinking about that in the back of his head. Like dude, you can still be the #1 seed. Like, because you did that, now San Francisco gets the rest of next week.
Yeah, because of your video game like mentality. And also, too, I feel like, I don't know how you felt, but watching that game, if it went into overtime,
I like the Lions.
Detroit had momentum.
No question.
Especially if they got the ball first coming out of overtime, winning the coin toss. They had momentum. You saw how easily they went down the football field and scored. So, listen, when the play was called back, the eligible confusion led to them calling it back. You move back. Yeah. Okay, you know what? Let's because they got bailed out from an offside penalty from Parsons. That's the thing. Yeah. So I'm like, when that happened, you move back. Okay, forget what I said, guys. I know we were supposed to go for it, but because this penalty, I'm gonna coach the game the right way, kick this field goal, and let's go score a touchdown.
Correct.
Nope. And by the way, and we'll go take a break here in a second. They bailed out Mike McCarthy because he was starting to leak oil down the stretch there.
Oh, God. Well, let's not even forget earlier in the game, they had a chance to kick a field goal when it was 4th and 4, and they went for it. So if they just kick the field goal there, they're not even in that scenario. Like
Mike McCarthy, situational coaching.
Oh, boy.
It's so bad.
Oh, boy.
It's been tough for him.
Oh, boy, it's so bad. He got bailed out, but not running the football, throwing the football. He threw the football 3 straight times.
Man, if it's a 1-score game, right, and it's a live bet on the other team.
So
he might mess it up.
Yes. Look, a 1-word answer, and then we'll take a quick break and come back and talk about the playoffs in a second here. But BMAC, if the Cowboys lose in the first round, is Mike McCarthy the coach in March?
Yes.
Oh, Leger.
No. Not at all. You got to think, B-Mac, they've built this team up to be a championship team. That's all we've heard the last few years, right? Like, my thing is, if they weren't the #2 seed, which they most likely will be if they go and beat the Commanders, who have the worst passing defense in all of football and already getting ready for the offseason. The only caveat to that is if Jacoby Brissett plays, I think that game is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be real. Because let's not forget, last year, Dallas was in the scenario where they could still win the NFC East. And they lost to Sam Howell and the Commanders. Now, the Eagles ended up winning, so it didn't matter. But the Eagles at the time were in a tight ball game versus Giants.
And that game was in Washington, too, right? That game was in Washington.
And they said Washington this year, too. So if Jacoby Brissett is playing, that game could get real interesting. But I think if they're the #2 seed, I don't see them losing at home in the divisional round. Now, it depends on who they play. But I don't think anybody truly scares me. Now, the interesting thing will be, right, who are they going to be slated to play against, right? Will it be the Green Bay Packers, the Seattle Seahawks? The Seahawks actually should have beat them at home
the first time.
So
yeah.
If it's the Seattle Seahawks, I could see them now. The Seattle Seahawks are awful on defense right now. Like,
yeah, they are.
B-Mac, your Steelers did whatever they wanted to up in Seattle. So that's the only thing. If they can get healthier right before they play that game. But if they lose in the first round, I don't think McCarthy's the coach next year.
I sort of lean that way, too.